we're in the kitchen. And in the kitchen there are many things to look at. For instance, we look at the drawers, make sure the drawers are in good shape, and we take a look at the cabinets and so forth. We'll take a look at the sink itself. We run all the water in the house. We'll run the sprayer. Well, with the water, we run all the water at the same time. We run the faucet here, we run all the kitchen faucets, we run the bathrooms and so forth. What we're doing is called the functional flow test to make sure that the water pressure is adequate when everything's on at the same time. We also take a look at the appliances. And in the dishwasher, we take a look at the racks, make sure they're not rusted and damaged. And we run the dishwasher through a full cycle, make sure it works correctly. In this house we have a stovetop. When we do run the stovetop, all the burners, we will operate the vent hood and make sure the blowers operate the way they should, light fixture and so forth. And of course we turn on the oven, the broiler and so forth. What we don't do, we do not comment on how the computer part of these appliances work. We check these appliances for the basic function only. Well, we also check for the plumbing at this time underneath the sinks. We'll run the water, and during our test, we like to see if there are any leaks on these plumbing drains, and we make sure the drains are installed correctly, because at times the drains are installed by amateurs. There might be an S-trap or a mechanical vent or a trap that just doesn't comply with today's standards. Well, in the bathroom, we take a look at the sinks and the faucets, the controls, the stoppers, the countertop and cabinets and so forth. Of course, we take a look at the doors and windows and walls, floors. We inspect the toilet, the shower, and of course, we also take a look at the tub. On a tub, we check for the condition of the faucets and the fixtures and the stopper. Of course, the physical condition of the tub itself. This is a jet tub. Some people call them jacuzzi tubs. We would have to fill this up, run it through, make sure it functions. Another important thing is we have to make sure it has a ground fault circuit interrupter plug. The ground fault plug is a safety feature, and we would look for those in other parts of the bathroom as well. Well, for those of you that don't know, this is called a window. And on a window, we have what is called a balance. This is a balance, this plastic piece. Well, in older houses, we have ropes and pulleys and pins and all types of balances that hold the window up. It's very important to check every window, make sure that the balances work correctly. And another thing we look for with a window is, of course, the lock. And you're looking at thermopane glass in this newer window, and there's a seal between the glass, a vacuum. And if that vacuum escapes, it will cause the window to become foggy. And that's a defect in the glass. And if that happens, you'd need to replace the glass, and this can be $100 or more per pane. So that's very important to check out. This is the front door of the house. And as you can see, it's a metal door. Metal doors, you have to be very careful because often they get rusty down at the bottom. We also take a look at the casing. This is an area where insects and water rot typically take place. The casing, lower area here, and the threshold. So we need to check that very carefully. Well, on the interior of a home, we take a look at the windows, the doors, the floors, the walls. We look at the floor coverings, for instance, carpet tears and so forth. And we comment on what we can physically, visibly see. And we take a look at the cosmetic condition overall. Here we are in the attic. And in the attic, there are many, many things to look for. For instance, we take a look at the rafters, see if they're in good condition. We take a look at the sheathing and all of the framing up here. Well, another thing we look for is, of course, insulation. By today's standards, we're looking for about an R30. That's about 9 inches of insulation. We make sure that the insulation has some type of a vapor barrier. That would be best if it does. The vapor barrier paper, what it does, it keeps any humidity levels from in the home from penetrating up into the attic area, which would cause problems with buildup of mold and mildew and so forth in an attic. Well, another thing we look for is ventilation. An attic does get hot, which is normal, but we're looking for vents. Ventilation is important. We look for ridge vents or gable vents, soffit vents. This attic is ventilated fine. But if you notice, one of the gable vents has been chewed by squirrels, and that sometimes is a problem in some of these attics as well. Well, the next thing we look at is issues that take place in the basement.